In the previous video, we saw how you can configure and enable the Oracle Database Vault inside a container database. In this video, we shall take a look how you can work on the pluggable databases. Guys, please remember, if you have to work on pluggable databases and if you need to enable Oracle Database Vault on pluggable databases, you need to enable and configure the Oracle Database Vault first on container databases. And that's what we did in the previous video. So let's take a look how things are with the pluggable database. So if I do a SQL plus / sysdba, let me increase the font for the guys who are actually working on their mobiles. If I do a show PDBs, here you can see that my pluggable database PDB1 is up and running, right? So all I need to do now is I need to connect as admin to the PDB. So I'll use a simple command, alter session set container equals PDB1, which will help me to go inside the pluggable database. Right, so if I do a show PDBs now, you'll see that I'm inside the pluggable database. Now I'll do the same thing which I did previously, which I did in the container database. In the container database, I tried to check the status of database vault and I tried to check the status of label security. So let's see how things are there in the pluggable database. So if you see here, it's exactly the same how it was when we started with the container databases, right? If you see the database vault configuration is set to false, even though it is set to true inside the container database, but since we are now in pluggable database, things are different, right? So, and the database vault enable status is also set to true, and everything related to label security is set to false. So now our aim is that we need to configure and enable the database vault inside a pluggable database. So let's take a look how this can be done. Right. The other thing is that it's always good, especially for our future exercises, that we have some sample schema inside our pluggable database. So what I'll do is I'll create a HR schema, and to do that, I just simply go to, say, Oracle Home, Demo. I normally use the HR schema, so I'll just go to Human Resources. Right, and I'll just simply go to my pluggable database. I'll say alter session set container equals PDB1. I'll just do show PDBs. You can see that it is PDB1. Here we just need to simply execute a simple SQL statement, which is HR_main.SQL. All this statement will do is it will create the HR schema inside the pluggable database. It will create and populate the schema. So it asks for the password. So remember, we need to give 2 uppercase for ##. We give the default table space, which is users. I give the temporary table space, which is temp, and I give the log path, which is /temp. And you'll see that it'll actually helps us to create the schema. It also populates it. Very nice. So this is actually populated. So if I just simply do a select here on employee ID, first name, last name, and see how things are, it should show us. Great. So our schema has been populated. The HR schema is there. Let's go ahead. Now what we need to do is we need to configure database vault inside the pluggable database. Guys, remember, because we created the common users, which were database vault owner root and database account manager root, we don't have to create new users here. So we can simply make use of the same users, and all we need to do is the same command that we executed inside the container database. Now we need to execute inside the pluggable database. All we are saying is configure database vault, and we are giving the username for the database vault owner and database vault manager, account manager. And yes, nice. We now need to connect to the root as the DV owner user, right? Which is C#DV owner root, but to the pluggable database, guys. Remember, you're not connecting to the container database, but you have to connect to the pluggable database as your database vault owner root. So I'll just simply make connection to this. And before doing that, what I normally do, I'll just simply check the status because it helps me to make the connection. So I'll just say SQL plus C ## DV owner root at okay, I'll just say host, the easy connect method, right? Host colon port, which is 1521 slash, and I'll pick my service name, which is my PDB1 service name, and I'll connect to this. Okay, and I'll give the password. Cool. So I am now connected inside a pluggable database as C ## DV owner root user. And once I'm there, I need to execute the same command which I did for the container database. Again, I'm just simply enabling the pluggable database, enabling the database vault inside the pluggable database, right? Good. And now we can actually say restart the pluggable database. You might remember when we were doing for container database, we actually, once the configuration of database vault and the enablement was done, we actually restarted the container database. Same way we will actually restart our pluggable database. So I'll just connect. I'll just say show PDBs. I'll say PDB close, and I'll say PDB open. Right, and then I need to actually check inside the pluggable database. So I'll just simply go to the pluggable database. So alter session set container equals PDB1, and we check the status of database vault, and we check the status of label security, and let's see what it is. Voila. So if you see here, the database vault configuration status is set to true. The database vault enable status is set to true, which shows that database vault is now configured inside the pluggable database and database vault is enabled inside the pluggable database. And we also check for the label security, exactly the same status what we saw in container database when we ended the video, that the label security configuration status is set to true and the label security enabled status is set to true. So guys, these two videos would have helped you to configure and enable Oracle Database Vault inside a container database and inside a pluggable database. In the next videos, we shall do some more work around how we can work or how we can play with different features of Database Vault, which we learned in our theory lessons, and how we can start implementing those. So keep watching. Thanks.